data visualization by the help of diagrams, filtering, and pivot tables. By these exercises, we want to do practice with pivot tables and filtering. First, we want to create a pivot table by two variables, town and gender. Selecting table or data, this range, we want to go to the insert menu and pivot table, the first one. We can create a pivot table in a new worksheet or in the existing worksheet. If I want to put in an existing worksheet, it shouldn't overlap with other data. For example, I can start from here and say we want to have town in the rows, gender in the columns, and name in the values. Since name is a descriptive variable, then by default it's going to be count of this variable or count of name. If it is quantitative, then we are going to have by default sum of that variable, but we may need to change it to average, standard deviation, or any other thing. So in values, we may need to change from default form to another form. Now we want to create this pivot table with another existing worksheets here that I created. I want to put that pivot table here and continue by the other exercises. So one more time, I start to select the range, insert menu, pivot table, again existing worksheet, but this time the worksheet is somewhere else here. And I want to start to create that pivot table from this cell. The same town in rows, gender we drag and drop in columns, and name in values. Now we don't need this part. Right after that, I'm going to copy this pivot table and paste as values somewhere here. I'm pasting as values. Here we can see the second one is pasted as values. Now let's create some special table that we want to work with. I want to show all borders. Well, here we want to have all of them to be centered. The data are not bold, they are regular, and the titles are bold. And also here I may want to merge these two and then write just town. And for female and male, we can merge these two and write gender, the other variable. These two also can be merged, and we have total here and another total here. Now this is our table. We want to use this table to create gender percentage distribution for each city. Now I want to copy this and paste here. For this distribution. But we don't need the values. We are going to calculate these values based on the first pivot table. This time we want to see the distribution of female and male employees by town. It means that from this 28 female, we want to see what percentage are in the first town, second, and so forth. So here I want to write 7 out of 28. Now I want to show in percentage. We can write a percentage in front, but if we write percentage here in the title or say it is in percentage, then I don't need the percentage sign. Now first I create with percentage. Let's say this is equal this value divided by the total number of female, but we need to log the row number, because if I want to copy this down, I don't want this value to move down, the total, but it should be able to copy to the other columns, then the column name is not going to be locked. So this, I need only a $sign before the row number. And that's it. But if I want to show in percentage, I can say in percentage and with 2 decimal points. This is one way. But if I want to see the I don't want to see the percentage sign here. Since the percentage is there, then we can change the type again to not the percentage. We can change to number. But this time we need to multiply by 100. Now it's going to be 25, but percentage is outside the table. Now we copy this to the right. Now this value says 25% of female are in the first town, and in total 32% of 80 employees are in first town. Now we can drag this down. So in total we have 100%, all the employees. Females are distributed this way, males that way, and in total all the employees are distributed by these percentages. One more time, we copy this table and paste it here without the values inside. Now we want to find the distribution of employees by gender in each town. For example, in first town, we want to see what percentage are female, what percentage of this 26 employee from this town are male, what percentage female. So then we need to divide the 7 by 26 and 19 by 26. So I write just one formula here, similar to the previous one. This time 7 divided by 26. But I want this formula to be able to copy it to the right and down. It means that this 26 shouldn't move to the right, but it can move down. In this case, we want to lock the column name. Now, this time, we are going to have a $sign before the column name. And since I have the percentage as a unit, then I don't need to see the percentage here. That time, I need to multiply by 100. It's going to be this much percentage. And we want to keep only 2 decimals. So let's go to the type if it is a number, and we want to keep 2 decimals. Now I can copy that way and this way. Now from employees first town, we have 26.92% female and 73.8% male, and so forth. And in the next part, we want to see the distribution of employees by town and gender together. Now, one more time, we copy this pivot table and paste it here. This time we want to see what percentage of this employees, this 80. So this 80 is important. This is the total number of employees. What percentage are from first town and first gender? So they are 7. So we need to divide this time, this 7 by the total, which is here, 80. Now I'm going to write equal that value divided by this total. But once I want to copy the formula, this 80 shouldn't move to the right or down. So we need to fix it. Now I press F4 to see $sign before the column name and row number. Another time, because we have the percentage for the unit there, we also multiply by 100, and we keep 2 decimals to the right and then down. So we have the 100% here. And from this 100%, the distribution of the employees, we can see that 32% are in the first town, 16.25 in the second, and so forth. And 5% are female, and they are from Gur. So from this town and the gender female, we have 5% of this 80, or the total number of population. Now we want to show some diagrams here. We want to create a diagram to show number of staff by gender in each town. So since it's related to number of staff, then we are going to use this database. So from this table, I want to select male, female, these columns. Okay, this is the range that we should select. And go to the insert menu again, but this time we want to insert a diagram, which is 2D, and we have the first one here that we want to show male and female next to each other. What percentage are male, or how many of them are male, how many of them are female. So the first one. So it will look like this. If you go there and click on the same diagram one more time, you will see that these columns are going to be next to each other like this without any distance. So this is the first step. Another thing, so let's move the diagram a little bit that way. Here we can see that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but we don't want to see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We want to see the name of the towns. Now here in this part, we want to change the data. So we click on this filter sign and go to the select data. Now this is related to horizontal axis. We edit this one. So we come here and edit this part, and we select the name of the towns. Now we can see the names here and the rest there. Now let's move this one proper place. And we just need to put the title there, and that's all. So here I'm going to select this. And then it seems that I selected twice. Yeah, that's the diagram which shows the distribution or the number of male and female for each town. In the second part, we want to show distribution of staff by gender. What percentage of this 80 are male and what percentage female. So we can see that for male and female, we have these two values. So we can say that we can use with these two values to show the distribution by gender. Now I can just select these percentages. And this time we want to show by pie chart. Now here we can see again 1 and 2, but instead of 1 and 2, we want to see female and male. So we can change the data for the, again, second part. Instead of 1 and 2, we want to have female and male. Now we can see female and male here. And we want to see those percentages inside this pie chart. We can click on the plus sign and go to the data labels. In different part, outside, inside, center, whatever, we can select. And I want to also show the category name, female and male. And we can say that we want to separate by special, for example, by semicolon. Or the place that we want to have in center, or outside, inside. For example, if I want to select outside, we are going to see them there, or I want to see in center. And that's all for this diagram. The other one, we want to show the distribution of staff by gender and town. Now here, I want to have male and female by gender and town, and we want to insert another diagram, but this time we want to see as percentage what percentage of the employees of this city are female and what percentage female. So we want to see not this one, and also I want to see a 2D diagram. I can show 3D or 2D, so between these two we are selecting this one. Now here we have, so by mistake I remove this data selection. Now this is the data selection, female and male. This is fine, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, again we need to change it to the name of the cities. We can change the source, and here for the horizontal, again I select the name of the cities. Now we have the percentages. For example, in the first town, this percentage about 25 are female, the red one, blue one, and the red one which are male, we have the rest as male. And that's all. We just need to copy and paste the title, and we are done with this diagram. Now we answered all these exercises. Let's create another pivot table. So this is also easy to create the columns that we are going to find the ratio of males over female, female over male. Now let's continue another pivot table where we have the average premium. So we want to see this average premium. We want to have number of children and gender. So number of children is going to be the variable in the rows, gender in columns, and values are going to be the average premium. And we want to have also a filter there that we can separate by town. For example, we can see for each town or for all towns. Now, let's do this one. Selecting all data, inserting a pivot table. This time I'm going to create in a new worksheet. So this is the new worksheet. Now we want to have number of children in rows, gender in column, and premium, which is going to be the average of premium. By default, we will see that it is sum of premium. We are going to change this one. So it shows for all towns, but we can also put town in the filter. It means that we can show by towns separately. By default, it's going to be all towns, but I can change it. Now we are done, but no, not yet. We need to change this one to average. So here, instead of sum of premium, we want to, the exercise says, find the average of the premium. Good. Now this is the pivot table that we created. For example, here, this is for all 80 or all cities. Now, if we want to select, for example, one city, then it will show for this city only. Or we also can select multiple cities. So, for example, I want to select these two towns and then see what's the distribution of the employees for these two cities. And if we want to show this, since these are premium, we want to show the unit there also. So we can select this values and say we want to have, these are numbers with 2 decimal point, or we can say that it is currency with 2 decimal point, what currency, or we can create a custom one. Now we want to create a custom with 2 decimal, so 0.00, 2 decimal points. And after that, I want to create a proper quotation mark, space. In this case, we have HUF as unit for the currency. Now we say those values in front. One more time, let's come select all. So this is for all. Another thing that we want to do in this video is using the filter. We answered this exercise. For example, we want to determine the number of those persons in database who speak 2 languages. So we can go to the number of languages and count if the value is 2. So let's do it once. So I can write equal count if in this range we have 2. The value is 2. We can get the same 14. But to get that 14, this time I'm going to create a filter here and then get the same 14 by filter. Now, we can just click on one of the variable name and then here we can select the filter. Now we see this drop down menus, and for number of languages we can select only 2. If we do this, here we can see that we have 14 out of 80 records found. So we can say that we have 14 of them. But I will show you some important points related to filtering. Once you are doing the filtering, you shouldn't do any other calculation in the filtered area. For example, if I copy and paste these values, for example, from here to there, I want to, let's say, find the average age for them. I can copy this. If by mistake, if you paste somewhere, we know that we have 14 elements there. If I paste those values somewhere here, you will see only 3 of them. It means that there are some hidden rows, and some of those data, or the rest of the data from those 14, are in those hidden part. And if you want to, by mistake, use another formula, for example, and find the outer sum or outer average, it's going to be only the average of this 3. But if I remove the filter, we will see that the average is not there, this 8. If we remove the filtering, select show all, we will see that the average is going to be something different. However, in this case, it is almost similar. Let me change this to, let me go back. Maybe if we write sum, it's going to be much more clear. If I change or show the filtering again for number of children, and instead of this auto average, if I want to show auto sum, now auto sum is 113, but if we remove the filtering, 113, now we can say this is 544. So it means that we are not considering, so if we shouldn't use any formula when we are using filtering, or if we copy and paste, it's better to paste in another worksheet or somewhere down here that we don't have any filtered or hidden rows. Now this is just one remark, that you shouldn't do any calculation in the area that you already filtered or there are some hidden rows. Now the same, we want to calculate the sum of premium received by managers. So we want to filter by position and select only managers. So these are the values for the premium. So I can select them. As I said, we should paste somewhere else that we don't have any filtered or hidden rows. So I paste it somewhere here. Now we can say that we have exactly the same number. How many elements were there? We have exactly the same. Now I can write the auto sum here. And it says that is this much. Okay. And if I copy this and remove the filtering from here, we can see that it's exactly the same value. So we found this one. Oh, sorry, because I copied but paste as formula, then it's not working. I can paste as values, exactly the same value. The same for the other exercises, you can do the same for the spoken. So the number of children is here. Number of children, we have this. Copied, paste here. But this time the total sum should be exactly the same value, 76. Yeah. And once we are done with the filtering and we don't want to have the filtering here, we can click again in one of those cells and say clear filtering. If I click again, then the filtering will be disappeared.